songs like The Power of Love, I Want a New Drug, and Hip to Be Square. Our next guest gave us some of the best music of the 80s.
They say the heart of rock and roll is still beating. After what I've seen, I'm moving. Now the old boy may be barely breathing. But the heart of rock and roll, heart of rock and roll.
Wow.
And he is now bringing those mega hits to Broadway with his new musical, The Heart of Rock and Roll. So please welcome the one, the only, Huey Lewis. Woo! Hi! Oh my gosh.
Hi.
It is such an honor to meet you.
Nice to
Thank
see
you so
you.
much for coming in.
for having me.
Wonderful to see you, please.
I'm going to put my little hearing disc down.
By all
of course.
means,
So I can hear you
by
better.
all means. How you feeling today?
Sorry?
How are you feeling today?
Okay, I feel pretty good.
Thank you for spending your last day in New York
Yes.
with us.
That's right.
Means a lot to us.
And my native, you know, I was born in Manhattan.
Really?
I'm a native New Yorker.
Well, look at that.
Whoa,
People don't know that. But
I did not know that.
it was a long time ago.
But here we are.
Not that long ago.
No. Yes.
Well, we are both huge fans of yours.
Well, thanks.
And in your whole catalog of music, to have it come into a Broadway show, would you
Right.
have ever imagined?
Of course not. I mean, I had no idea, but it's been a wonderful journey. Even though it's been a long journey, we've been working at this for about a decade now, but it's really been fun.
So the musical, it's a jukebox musical, and it's not necessarily about you per se.
Right.
So how would you describe it to folks?
Well, it's about a kid who's he's in a rock band and he's trying to make it, and he finally can't, so he gets a straight job at a corrugated company. He goes from a rock star to a box star.
Excellent.
And then he meets the boss's daughter and falls in love, kind of. And he's ascending in the company, and then simultaneously his old band gets the break that they've always wanted, and from Chrysalis Records with a record deal and a tour. And so they come to him and say, "Come on, we got to do this." And so he says, "I will." And he tries to do. That's Act 1. In Act 2, he tries to do both of those things, and it gets a little squirrely, and I won't ruin the ending for you.
Leave
but
something for the audience,
that's what it
yeah.
is.
But do you relate to this character at all? Is it at all like you, this guy?
I do, actually, although the story's not about me. Bobby, our lead, is 29 years old, and this is kind of his last shot. And I formed this band, Huey Lewis and the News, when I was 29. It was kind of my last shot. And, you know, I had a day job at the time, and he does. And so I understand the ambition and the anxiety, you know.
Wow, what a full circle moment. So for those viewers who don't know this, you lost your hearing in 2018. You were
Right.
diagnosed with Meniere's disease.
Right.
And so you have this.
I have this little disc, which
Yep.
helps me, which is not really working right now, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, you're doing
but
a
I'm gonna
great
make it
job.
work right now.
But how has that transformed your life? I would think that as a musician, sound is so integral to what you do, to what your calling has been.
Yeah, I mean, music is, I can't hear music anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, it's horrible. It was, and when I lost my hearing 6.5 years ago, really, I was devastated. You know, I spent 6 months in bed, pretty much, trying all kinds of medicines and protocols and, you know, all organic diet and acupuncture and cranial massage and chiropractic, and nothing helped. And after about 6 months of this, I lost 25 pounds. I was miserable. My son and my daughter, you know, sort of wouldn't allow me to feel sorry for myself anymore.
Good for them.
So here I am, and of course the musical's been like a salvation for me. Keeps me creative, gives me something to think about, and keeps my mind off my lousy hearing.
No, but you know, I mean, some of your songs, though, I mean, that helped. You know, the popularity continues year after year. Your song and Back to the Future on, I mean, just like all of this stuff. Does that really help lift up your spirits as well?
Absolutely, absolutely, amazingly. And you know, it's kind of funny, but you're right. We have 2 songs in Back to the Future, and the same two songs in our show. And in fact, Power of Love is the finale.
The finale for Back to the Future, yeah.
And it's also our finale. So,
wow.
So it's possible and even probable, even though their show is a little longer than ours, if we start late, which we do occasionally, that Power of Love is playing at the exact same time.
In two different theaters.
That just gave me chills.
That's pretty
Pretty
cool.
funny, right?
That is pretty cool, though.
So
Right.
have you been in touch at all with your friend Michael J. Fox? I mean, if I'm being honest, two of my 80s crushes, here you are,
Yeah.
occupying Broadway. Have you spoken to him? Has he weighed in on it?
we actually did an interview together last week, or maybe a week and a half ago,
Yeah.
and he's been very supportive. He's a great guy, you know, and very funny. People don't realize how funny Michael J. Fox is,
Yeah.
but he's very funny.
Yeah.
And so he's been very supportive.
What I think is actually funny, you're a New Yorker, but you weren't really a big fan of Broadway shows.
Right.
And here you are on Broadway in two theaters.
Well, you know, I wasn't. You're right. Because I was raised in California, and so and I knew nothing from Broadway. And a neighbor took me to see Mamma Mia, and I thought he invited me, and I thought, yeah, I'm not gonna like that, you know. But I loved it.
Fell in love.
And then I was offered the part of Billy Flynn in Chicago. I was Billy Flynn number 31.
Wow.
I told them they should have numbers on the tuxedo. And I fell in love with everything that's Broadway. You know, it's very collaborative, sometimes frustratingly collaborative, but the people you're collaborating with are smart and funny and self-effacing and loaded with talent. So it's really been a great trip.
Speaking about collaboration and star power, fell in love with you again when I saw one little documentary on Netflix, the Greatest Night in Pop. I was shocked and appalled to hear that Prince did not show up.
What
And
in the
enter
world?
Huey
Lucky
Lewis.
for me, right?
Yes.
Stage left.
Yay.
Thank you. That was a fun watch. I learned so much.
Yeah.
That trio, you got some pipes.
Yeah,
Holy smokes.
it was, needless to say, it was an amazing evening, right? I mean,
course,
this
unforgettable.
is, you don't get to meet those people in a lifetime, let alone work with them in one evening. And, you know, I realized then, I was, 32, maybe 31, that this was the career event of my life. And now, some 39 years later, it still is.
Yeah. Well, what an honor it has been to sit on this couch with you
Oh,
and
you're sweet.
share
Thank you.
your
Thank you.
story and your success.
Come see our show. It's really good. We're
Don't
very
you
excited
worry.
about it.
We'll hop
will.
from theater to theater.
Yes.
Back and forth.
Try to see it both at the same time.
That's right.
We'll run across the street and hear Power of Love in the next
Yeah.
theater.
Thanks for making
Thank
this your
you.
last stop in New York before you head back home.
Thanks for having me.
Great to meet you.
You bet.